right, so what was your first car ever?
I had it was a 91 Toyota Camry.
Ooh, was it beige?
It was white. White with a blue cloth interior. It had the power seat belts that.
Oh,
So you
love
didn't.
those.
So it looked like you had your seatbelt on, but you didn't have your lap belt on.
Yep.
So
Miss those things. It's a funny thing. I was bald eagles. Just been hanging out there.
Oh, there's a couple of them. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1973 Ford F100 pickup. It was robin's egg blue.
Okay.
It had a 3 on the tree manual.
Yeah.
Which was awesome because nobody could ever drive it but me, so I would just like leave it unlocked all the time. What would be, if you could have like any car today, what would it be?
Probably a Toyota Land Cruiser.
All right.
I like those.
All right.
You know,
Like a new one or like an old used or like
if
an
I
old...
could find, the new ones are nice.
Yeah.
I like the old school ones, like a I think it's mid 90s, maybe later 90s.
Yeah.
With the back, like the 2 back windows had sliding panels.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they had a classic look.
Yep.
It looked like a safari vehicle.
Yeah.
And one of my friends in high school had one. I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
And you and I were talking the other day about how like rates have started to move a little bit. Or I guess
Yep.
the premise is that like they announced that the Fed moved the rate.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people that's like, okay, so what? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So what does it really mean when the Fed moves interest rates?
Sure. So, and the big thing is that, just to kind of explain what the Fed, that rate does,
Yeah.
is that really it's a short-term interest rate that banks can borrow money from the federal government overnight. It's a short-term piece to help them meet their minimum reserve requirements.
Okay.
So one of the misnomers is that the moment the Fed increases rates 0.25%, is that mortgage rates change immediately.
Like all hell just breaks loose immediately.
Yeah, not quite so much. You're always hearing that your credit card is tied to a prime number.
Yeah.
That's where the Federal Reserve rate comes in. So your credit card APR is going to be higher. Home equity lines of credit that are tied to the prime, those are going to be higher. But your fixed rate, your mortgages, that's just a small piece of what factors into that rate.
How much time passes before that happens, or how much of the rates have to move before that actually becomes like a thing that people need to watch out for?
Really, I mean, it's going to be for it to really impact rates. I mean, for example, 2004, 2005, when I was kind of first getting into mortgage, is that the Fed had raised rates a couple of times, and mortgage rates actually fell.
Oh.
So it really, I mean, that's it. What mortgage rates are tied to is the bond market.
Okay.
The 10-year Treasury is a good indicator. So if you're starting to see that trend upwards, that's really where you're going to see mortgage rates increase.
All right.
As far as that goes, but again, as the market improves and bonds, become less desirable and people start putting their money elsewhere, that's when you'll really see mortgage rates start to change. As far as the, long-term stuff, I'd say over the next year you'll start to see rates go up, but it's not directly because of the Fed.
Okay. So maybe that's kind of the nice part is the rates get publicized so much that, to your point, I think people just like they hyper focus on, oh my gosh, what are the rates doing?
Yep.
But kind of to spin off of that a little bit, so we're talking about where the rates might go as 2018 progresses along. I guess what should we expect, if anything, or what's a reasonable assumption that they might go to? We will not quote you.
Well, so we're starting the year here. We're right now we're at 3.875 on a 30-year fixed.
Yeah.
I think that it's not unreasonable to expect rates to be up in the mid fours, upper fours by the end of the year.
Okay.
If kind of all the projections in the market hold true and everything remains.
So is there anywhere that the general public can go on like a day-to-day basis to kind of monitor what maybe like an average mortgage rate might be, or how do they access that information?
Yeah. So on our website, at Bankers Trust, they can go out and see. We publish the daily rate.
Okay.
It's got certain assumptions, as far as credit score and what they're putting down. But it's a good place to keep an eye on the rates out there. Otherwise, you can always go out to like a bankrate.com and just see, and that's an average rate.
Sure.
That is compiled based on what mortgage rates are being reported. And
Okay.
so they take an average and say this is the this week's average mortgage on a 30-year fixed, 15 or 20, depending on what they want to track.
I had heard once upon a time from who knows who, but if rates were to move from 1%, so let's say they go from 4 to 5, that would be the equivalent of like you losing roughly 10% of your purchasing power if you were at like $100,000.
Mhm.
Is that accurate at all? I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, every at around 100,000, every eighth increase is right around $10, $11 a month
okay.
on that. So yeah, if you go up a full percent, take that times 8, that's about $80 a month change in your payment, and that does equate to about a 10 to 15% change in your buying power in theory.
Crazy. Like I remember my parents, well, I shouldn't say I wasn't alive, but the story I've been told is how thrilled they were when they got their construction loan to build the house I grew up in at 16%. Like that was the best thing they had ever heard.
Yeah.
And now we're complaining if they hit like 4 or 4.25. We're just like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? All right, so who is your favorite superhero?
Superhero.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
Right now it'd probably be Batman.
Yeah.
It really would. Yeah. Just the idea that like he's like a superhero, like a self-made superhero, right?
Sure.
Like he didn't come from outer space. He doesn't have special powers. Like just a guy that got a bad break, built himself into a superhero. Not that I read anything into that.
Probably Superman.
Okay. All right. Why Superman?
Just average guy, like newsroom guy,
Okay.
and then he's got this awesome power.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
So if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Seeing the future of rates. We always joke that's
the corniest.
Yeah. You're welcome. I do what I can. Superpower. Probably to fly.
See, yeah, that I feel
I
like
think
would
flying
be,
is
that's
so
an honest
cool.
answer.
Like
Yeah.
a bird's eye view. I mean, up in my office now, we're up at 10th floor, and the perspective you get.
I'd go full 8-year-old and say X-ray vision. Yeah.
Nice.
For all the obvious reasons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just immediately get in trouble.
Yeah.
Last weird corny question. If you could get to work by any means of transportation other than your car, what would you take? How would you get to work?
Well, I did enjoy with my new office is that one of my, since I live so close, is was a zip line.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
So
okay.
I was like that. Yeah. I mean, if we're just talking like, current, I didn't have to commute or anything.
Yeah.
The zip line between my office and my house, just across the river, would be. I'd do that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
What about how would you get to work?
I think like to do something that would just throw people, like maybe a steam engine.
That works.
Right, like in the world of impracticality, if I could come to work any way I wanted to, it'd be my own private car on a steam engine. And people would
Straight up.
people would see the steam in the distance and know that I was getting close. Everybody would be like, we gotta get ready, we gotta get ready. Yeah, we got about 5 minutes. So is there anything else, I guess, as far as rates go that you want out there, that you want to make sure people are thinking about?
I think the only thing that for both you and I in general is that misnomer about needing 20% down.
Ooh, good
And
one.
not
Okay.
even that's a whole other day and a whole other topic about financing products. But when you can illustrate and work with professionals that can show that right now with rates having that misnomer of 20% down and waiting to save that up to buy your house. I mean, in some instances, it might make sense. It might be your goal. That's fine. Not to say it's not a good goal, but if there's something you're looking to do, and with the options that are out there, the fact that you can do 30-year fixed rate financing with as little as 3% down, and take advantage of today's rates is I think that's the biggest thing that people need to know, that we do a pretty good job of touting and talking about, but it's just, again, so many people, even older clients, think that they need that 20%.
Right.
Just sitting down and going through the numbers and showing what they can do today is big.
I think that's the hard part too, is I think when people start to think about houses a little bit, they always feel maybe a little bit nervous about reaching out to somebody like you or I, just to ask questions.
Yep.
And then so maybe they rent for another 2 years, when they could have bought a house and saved all that rent.
And that's the thing, is we both have clients that come in and we just show them numbers. We don't even go through an app on my side, don't even do an application. We just say, hey, let's just look at this.
Right.
Give you the visuals, give you the information, and then more often than not, they come back and say, yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah, like there's no reason not to. All right, I like that.
So
we really want this old meat packing plant.
Yeah.
And we want to turn it into an event space.
That building right there?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Who owns it?
I don't even know. It's an older gentleman in town. So I've only known through like that 6 degrees of separation.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
well, if we get
I
that
don't think they'll ever sell
Sleeping
it.
Giant bridge built,
That's gonna be so cool.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it'll be this area. I mean, it's already amazing. But
Yeah.
this area will just
Have
be
the bridge. We'll have the zip line.
Uh-huh.
It's not gonna connect to your building. But it'll be. Was that you that I was talking to about how I thought the zip line was gonna go from Mount Trashmore to Newbo?
Where does it go?
Well, it goes across the river.
Okay.
Like
but not from the top.
Yeah, like it'll be really cool. It's going to go across the river, from one side to the other. But I thought it was going to go like from the top of Trashmore the whole way down. And I was so excited about like a 90-mile-an-hour zip line. And I was talking to a great friend of mine that works for GoCR, and he was just like, "You would die. Like that's not a thing."
A little unsafe.
Yeah, so I'm still excited about it, but not quite as excited as I was when I thought it was like the world's fastest zip line.
Cedar Rapids is pretty progressive, but that's maybe a little too progressive for us.
Well, Nate, I want to thank you for riding around with me today.
Yeah.
Rapping about
you.
real estate.
Always fun.
We'll make sure that we have contact info for you in the video, and we'll link off to your website. So if anybody has any questions, they can call, email.
Wonderful.
Can they text you?
You can text. Always.
That's the only little gotcha thing I put in there. Text them anytime.
Hey, questions, that's what we're here for. Kind of like that.
All right,
Chief Information Officers and off-road.
There we go. See, it's so easy to park this.
Yeah.
Now.
Just take everything out, just drive right over it.